John and Ali, you've both been working on the Afghan refugees resettlement project, and you spent a full day helping out. And John, you've been a long-standing volunteer with us. You worked on a variety of projects for us and with us. And Ali, you're actually a member of the staff who decided to donate your whole day to help out on this project. So do you want to tell us a bit what it was like for you? What did you witness on the day? How did the day go? What did you have to do?
Sure. I'm John Walker. I'm a volunteer driver. I have been for the last 18 years since I moved back to retire in London from Singapore, and mainly do long distance driving for people who need to be taken wherever they want to go to. I heard about the requirement for volunteers for the Afghan project for the refugees who've been taken out of, which we all know about, taken out tragically from the situation in Kabul on the RAF planes. And there was going to be a massive day of volunteering at St. Luke's Church, and they needed people to do absolutely everything. One of the requirements was for drivers, and drivers ideally who had vehicles, to move massive amounts of clothes and toys and games and toiletries that people had donated. And so I was free, and luckily Westway Community Transport, as always, was superb and said, sure, of course you can have the truck, no need to pay for it, put in a gallon of diesel, that's fine. And so I was driving our goods van, a good size truck, and just moving truckloads of clothes that had been donated to and fro St. Luke's Church to be sorted and arranged so that when the refugees were brought to the St. Luke's Church, there were hundreds of refugees to help them find the right sort of clothes, the right sort of things they needed. Incredibly busy.
Yes, well, as John just mentioned, my name is Ali, and I work for Westway Community Transport. And as John mentioned before, obviously I end up pretty much as a volunteer, which I really wanted to do for a long time. Something that I can give back.
On your birthday?
Well, yes, it was on my birthday, but that's not the point. The point is that trying to give back to people, and these poor people really need help. And I was transporting the Afghan refugees from hotel to a church that that's supposed to be like collecting clothes and all necessary things for the kids, for themselves. And I was just doing this back and forth from the hotel to the church. And obviously I really loved it. I need to say this, I loved every minute of it. And I will not miss the opportunity to do it again. I would love to do it again, and doesn't matter if it's Afghani refugees or any other charities. I wish that I had done it before. This is something I miss in my life, and hopefully it won't happen again. And as John mentioned, there were a lot of vulnerable people from Afghanistan, and you could see from in their eyes that I don't think they are comfortable to be here. Obviously, they left the country, and who is actually comfortable to leave their own family? Even some of them probably they left their kids and they don't know what happened to them, and their own country to come to a foreign country. They don't speak their language, and it's a new environment. Everything practically is brand new for them. And but one thing that I know for sure that it will happen, that the kids, they will have a bright future. That's for sure.
And I would implore anybody listening to this to share with your friends, your workmates, other people at WCT as well, just how satisfying it is to do this. It really is classic. People laugh about it, but actually, the more you put in, the more you get out. And you can see at the end of the day, exactly, the volunteers were absolutely shattered, but by God, in a good way.
Well, that was a smile.
Joking,
everybody was smiling from the first moment to the end. I was really one of the volunteers. She was keep telling me, "Oh my God, you must really feel tired." I said, "No, I'm fine." And I came out early, and I finished late, but still, if they had asked me to stay over, probably I would stay for another 1 or 2 hours. That made me really going. The whole thing, whole experience was really something new for me. I have never done it before, but as I said, I missed this opportunity before, but I'm happy to do it again, and I will do it again if the opportunity comes.
My name's Tim. I'm a volunteer driver for Westway CT.
How did you find out about volunteering with us in Westway CT?
Well, as I said, back in the 90s, I was working. I was a solicitor I worked in a bank in the city, but I did have a car, and I wasn't using my car enough. And so when I saw in the library in Kensington, Chelsea, an advertisement, I actually picked up the form, but I never actually went ahead and applied because I couldn't be bothered getting the DBS check and the references. But I've now recently retired a couple of years ago, and so I remembered that Westway CT existed, so I just Googled it and filled the form out online and applied. So I didn't know about it from the 90s, but I only just applied back in March 2020, just before lockdown.
And you've done quite, like you hinted earlier, you've done quite a bit of different types of volunteering for Westway CT. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, yes, I applied back in March 2020, but unfortunately then we had something called lockdown and the offices were closed, so I wasn't actually able to do the driving assessment to August 2020. And I remember after I did the driving assessment, I actually said to when can I start? And they sort of said, well, if you're free tomorrow, we've got some people that want to be taken somewhere tomorrow. And so I started, straight away, because unfortunately at that stage, a lot of your other volunteers had moved out to their houses in the country, so you actually didn't have a vast bank of volunteers. So I started taking clients to medical appointments, etc. And then, unfortunately, due to the third lockdown in December, quite understandably, the Westway CT made the decision, due to the proximity in the car that the driver was to the passenger, it was not COVID safe to take, passengers. So therefore, I started doing food bank deliveries, and I felt safe doing that because there was only me, the food, and the car. So I had no passengers, and it was a godsend to me to actually get me out of the house, even though I was wearing a mask and gloves. Just to knock on the door and deliver food, for these food banks. And I did that for 11 months.
Recommend volunteering, and why would you recommend volunteering for Westway CT?
Well, I suppose it's more suitable to someone in my situation, someone who's not working, perhaps retired, because we've got more time. But for someone who had the time, it's, as you said before, it is rewarding. It's the satisfaction you get from helping other people. What was the other aspect of the question, sorry?
So volunteering, you would recommend volunteering?
I would recommend volunteering,
yes. Because
yes.
It gives you personal satisfaction
Correct.
from helping other people.
Correct, yes. And giving back to society, yes.
Yes, and about volunteering for Westway CT in particular, what would be the best aspects?
Oh, I'm considering myself to be part of the team, and that's really valued by me. The fact that you've also invited me to your Christmas party tonight, I'm not treated as a second-class citizen. I'm treated as a member of the team, and that's also very.
Like one of them.
I'm one of the team. I mean, I know. Chat off the drivers and the staff, etc. I'm not just treated, oh, you're just a volunteer, you don't get any rights, you're not going to do this, just do it, etc. Because as a volunteer, you can easily vote with your feet. If you don't, if you're taken for granted, shall we say, well, you can just not volunteer. Whereas I don't feel like I am taken for granted. I feel what I do is valued by Westway CT, and I think Westway CT is a very good organisation to volunteer for.